Subscribe to 2 Drink Minimum. Good stuff. Good channel. Check this guy out.
It's Stu. You ever heard of him?
No, you haven't actually. YouTube won't let you.
Remember back when the trailer dropped and we all thought this was fake and this was a gag trailer that didn't really exist for something that didn't really happen at all? Turns out it did. Turns out it was real. And turns out it wasn't bad. Okay, party people in the place to be. What's going on? It's me. So, this was gonna be a live stream, but guess what? I still don't meet the requirements for live streaming yet, party people. You can fix that by liking, sharing, subscribing, getting me up to that magical 1,000 subscription mark for YouTube to get that up and going. So I just came out of the sure-to-be Academy Award winning Detective Pikachu movie. It was a good flick. I gotta say. I got up out of my deathbed, as you can probably hear from the raspiness in my voice. I got up out of my deathbed, hacking up lungs, just dying a dog's death here, just drowning in cough syrup. No, not scissor, because that would actually be fun. No, just straight up congestion cough syrup to come in and watch a Detective Pikachu movie. Why? Because yes, I'm a 10-year-old boy who wants to be the very best, like no one ever won. Listen, I'm a human being. Even though there's a cavern in my chest, not only from this sickness, but where what you humans call a heart would be. Even though there is that, I'm still a human being, for crying out loud. I saw the freaking the trailer. I said that they were going to get my money, and by gosh, they sure did. Listen, this movie was very entertaining, very good. First off, I have to explain my experience in going to the theater here today. I wanted to go to a super early version, a super early screening, but I was not up to going out early yesterday. I wasn't up to going out to the first showing today. I made it to the 12:30. The reason I wasn't up to going to the first showing of the day was because dying a dog's death, just in a cough syrup coma. I was not getting up, but I managed to make my way up to the second showing because I'm still a G. Despite all that, I'm still a G. There was, of course, not one but 2 children in the screening, both under the age of 4. One I'm pretty sure was a baby who I wanted to immediately... If I say kick like Snitsky from WWE, will I get demonetized for that? Oh wait, I'm not monetized yet, so it doesn't matter. Yes, I wanted to give the old Snitsky boot to the baby, but there wasn't too much I could say because I was in fact coughing at various points in the movie. Like I might in fact be coughing during various points in this review, and I'm actually surprised I haven't hacked up a lung just talking to you so far yet. But, so, this movie is in fact pretty good. We're gonna get into some spoilers. First. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, go ahead and skip ahead to this point in the video. 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. Okay, so Detective Pikachu opens up. I got a new car I'm not used to. I gotta figure out, there I am. Detective Pikachu opens up. Well, I'm not used to the way my new car looks yet. Anyway, Detective Pikachu opens up with this kid, Justice Smith, who we've seen in other things before. I'm still not used to my new car because I don't know where I parked it. I may have been one more level. I was going another level up. Anyway, Detective Pikachu, this gives me more time to talk about Detective Pikachu. It opens up, does Detective Pikachu, with this kid, Justice Smith, out hunting for Pokemon with his friend, his inconsequential friend, who has nothing to do with the rest of this movie. He does not catch that Pokemon, which is a Marowak, which is one of the most useless freaking Pokemon. I don't understand why they're there. The only reason I even have a Marowak in my collection is because I'm a completionist, and because at a certain point I probably had to do something where I had to catch a freaking Marowak. Marowaks are freaking stupid. Anyway, out catching Marowak, couldn't catch the Marowak. This is just to establish that the kid doesn't have a Pokemon partner in his life. So this movie is trying to tell you that you need a Pokemon partner in your life. Now, I'm believing that they're keeping it relatively PG with the phrase of partner, or G rather, with the phrase of partner. PG would be the other thing, PG or above. But no, you don't have a Pokemon friend in your life. You need a Pokemon friend in your life. I don't need a Pokemon friend in my life, this kid says. And then, of course, which inevitably leads him to getting a Pokemon friend in his life, which is played by Deadpool himself, magnificent, godly Ryan Reynolds, which you've all seen in the trailer. So, the reason why he gets this Pokemon friend in his life is because he gets news that his estranged father, there's my car, his estranged father has been murdered, or has died. He doesn't know about the murder yet. He just knows that he died. And he's got to go and collect his things, go to Rhyme City, which is the place where there are no battles. Supposedly, Pokemon and humans live side by side, ebony and ivory, together in perfect harmony. Well, he goes to Rhyme City, meets with Ken Watanabe, and Ken Watanabe tells him, "Oh, your father was a good man. It's a shame that your father died. It's a shame that this happened, this, that, and the other." The kid's estranged from his father. He really just wants. He's really only there kind of by obligation. I don't even think the kid really wants to be there. He doesn't really want to have to deal with any of the stuff that his father, anything in his father's life. That sounds familiar. I wouldn't know that firsthand at all. But he's just there by obligation. So, fast forward to he goes to his father's apartment. He sees some things, and then the mystery starts unfolding. Some weird stuff starts happening. He sees, he goes through, and there's this little Pokemon rummaging through some stuff, right? And it just happens to be our friend Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan Reynolds is doing Ryan Reynolds stuff. Now, here's the big thing with Ryan Reynolds in this movie. Ryan Reynolds in this movie does a lot of Ryan Reynoldsing. There's a lot of intersecting and intermingling and talking in between lines and stuff like that. He has a lot of snide comments and, some cute stuff. At a certain point, it gets to be a lot. It gets to be a bit too much with the Ryan Reynoldsing. However, we haven't necessarily reached that point yet. So, right now, it's still kind of cute. I can understand you. How can I understand you? Here comes some A-Poms. For seemingly no reason, except the kid opens up this vial of gas of our gas, right? Which we later come to find out is making Pokemon really go wild and feral into this temporarily feral state. And these Apom, which were hanging out on the sign for seemingly no reason, other than to come in and attack the kid. While they come in and they attack the kid, and the Pikachu runs away, I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, why doesn't the Pikachu electrocute these people and call it a day? Turns out, the Pikachu can't remember how to use his powers. This Pikachu has no idea how to pat a Pikachu. All he knows how to do is Ryan Reynolds. And so that's what he does for the significant portion of this movie. He doesn't know that he doesn't know how to Pikachu until he finds his way into a battle with this giant Charizard held by this DJ who apparently was Diplo. I didn't know that you could get money for going on to a screen and hitting a button in a movie, but apparently you can. That's what Diplo did here. And I don't know. Apparently that's. I'm guessing that's Diplo. They gave him too many lines for him not to be Diplo, and I saw Diplo's name in the credits, and I'm like, all right, you did this for a reason. So Diplo's Charizard goes up against Pikachu, and apparently Pikachu had beaten him before, but guess what? He can't beat him now because he doesn't remember how to use his powers. He doesn't remember how to Pikachu, and that's a shame. And him and Justice Smith end up working their way out of that particular predicament because, but they find out more about this R gas. Essentially, the R gas is making Pikachu or Pokemon go into this feral state, and they need to figure out why it's making them go into this feral state. Well, they also need to figure out why the dad disappeared and whether the dad's really dead or not. And they go back and forth between Ken Watanabe and all these other people in the city that are saying he's dead, he's not dead, he's dead, he's not dead, my sister, my brother, my sister, my mother, my sister, my mother, I don't know. They go back and forth whether or not the father's dead. But they also go back and forth trying to figure out what the hell happened to this Mewtwo. Meanwhile, the benevolent leader of this city, the Branson of this city, the Richard Branson of this city, the father of this particular city, Rhyme City, was supposedly trying to put together this utopian society of all these people, and it seems like his son is jealous of his ascent and all this other stuff. They play it like the son is the one that is probably going to be behind this. Plot twist, it's actually going to be the father. Because the father didn't want to find a cure for this incurable disease that he went all over the world looking for these Pokemon for, as they stated in the press release at the beginning of the movie. No. The father actually was looking to merge with the most powerful Pokemon he could find, and the most powerful Pokemon in the world, of course, is Magikarp. No, it's Mewtwo. It's Mewtwo. So they did all these experiments on Mewtwo. They got Rita Ora in to play the scientist who did all these experiments on Mewtwo. And at the very, very, very beginning of the movie, we see this big explosion, and courtesy of Mewtwo, which is typical. And that's exactly, and they were doing these experiments on Mewtwo, and we're trying to figure out why they're doing these experiments to Mewtwo. In the meantime, our boy Justice Smith, I believe his name in the movie is Tim, runs across the of course, love interest in the movie. I'm not dead yet. I'm just dying. It's okay. Of course, love interest in the movie. She's a budding... Where is that good night? I swear to God. No, officer, there's no alcohol in here. They run across this budding reporter who is sitting there doing lists. Am I done not dying yet? Okay. They come across this kid who wants to be a reporter. This girl who wants to be a reporter. She does listicles for... She does listicles for the city's website. My body is allergic to the term listicle. So she does those things for the website about Pokemon, but she wants to be a reporter, and she thinks she's onto a story about the Argas and what it does and where it comes from and all this other stuff. So long story short, they go searching for it, and they find this top secret quote unquote black site. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to cut this short, otherwise I'm going to just die here in my freaking car. So they go and find this black site. Where they were doing all these experiments on all these different Pokemon. They just happened to do this big, elaborate scene where they almost die because it turns out the black site is on top of the Pokemon with the trees on them. They're not tortillas, not tortillas. Those, though, the tortoises with the forest on their back, turns out they're giant versions of them. And the experiments that they were doing on this black site were how to genetically manipulate the Argas to get the result that they wanted in the Pokemon. Meanwhile, they're setting up this giant Pokemon parade, the 10th annual Pokemon parade, where all the Pokemon and their humans can come and enjoy the parade, right? Turns out it's all a big ploy so that the mayor of the city, the mad father who wants to merge with Mewtwo, can merge every Pokemon with every human in the city, so that we can all be at this utopia, these humans living their best lives in the best form of Pokemon that they possibly can be. I don't know why he wants everyone to merge with other Pokemon, unless it's because he knows that he can control. Well, no, because if he's Mewtwo, he doesn't need everybody to be Pokemon to be the most powerful. The human form would be. Anyway, this is stupid, evil person scenario so that we can get a whole bunch of flashy scenes together. So we get a whole bunch of flashy scenes together where he's trying to release the Argas into the city to get the Pokemon feral, because they have to be feral in order to merge with humans. So he does that, and they merge with humans, and all is lost until our boy Justice Smith, who has met him up in his penthouse and has been fighting back and forth with a rogue Ditto, just happens to pull the thing off of our fake Professor X, off his head, the cranial thing that links him to the Mewtwo, off the Professor X, breaks the link, everybody goes back to normal, and it turns out the Mewtwo holds the key to whether our boy's father is dead or not. Turns out his father is not dead, or kind of not dead. He put the soul of his father into the Pikachu, but he broke the memory of it, so that he had to find your way back to your son, MacGuffin, and he didn't know that he was his father inside this tiny Pikachu. He just, for reasons, so he put the soul of his father into the boy didn't realize that the Pikachu had the exact voice of his father, apparently, played by Ryan Reynolds, who's literally Ryan Reynolds in this movie. Not literally, but he is Ryan. Like, when they put it back together, and it turns out he's going to fix all the things that were wrong before. One of the things that he fixes is that his father's not dead, his father's alive, and he meets him at the train station, and the boy's about to leave again, but then he's like, you know what, Dad, maybe I'll stay around for a while. Maybe I'll try being a detective. He's an insurance salesman in another city. Maybe I'll try being a detective. Yeah, I'd like that, kid. I think that'll work. Pikachu. For reasons. This movie is Reasons the movie. They do different things literally just for reasons, because you could fix a lot of this shit. The CinemaSins for this is going to be ridiculous, because all it's really going to point out, and shout out to CinemaSins if you see this, I have a feeling all you're really going to point out, CinemaSins, I have a sinking sensation that you're going to point out, all of this is just so we can see Ryan Reynolds play cute Pikachu for 90 minutes. That's all it's for. This whole thing could have been fixed. There is really no reason for us to go through. Let's start with the big parade. There's no reason for maniacal mayor person to want everybody to be Pokemon and humans. None whatsoever. He could have just merged with the Mewtwo and been more powerful than every Pokemon and every human. He didn't need to get rid of every human just in this city, by the way. He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to do that at all. He could have continued to be this giant Mewtwo. And he didn't necessarily need to do that, I guess, because he wanted to walk again. Okay, fine. Wanted to be more powerful? Okay, great. You can do that in the body of the Mewtwo. You don't need to do that in the body of everybody else. What was the point? To do away with humans who would, I don't know, try to develop a technology to turn him back? But it's a simple fix. Just take the thing off his head. And then what's gonna happen? the justification for this villain to be this villain is super paper thin. But you go along with it because you like Detective Pikachu. You go along with it because you like Ryan Reynolds in this role, and you go along with it because the world that they built was actually fairly good. What they did was something similar to why Alita Battle Angel worked, because the world that they built around the CG in this movie worked. Because they built a nice world around this CG, and they built the good, and the CG that they used was relatively good, although the Taurus animation was weird. That just was like, why did they put the horns so, like, that's weird, so far apart, and that was odd. Because I've had to, I play Pokemon. I'm a bit of a nerd, in case you haven't figured it out. I'm a bit of a geek, and, but the world that they built, the city landscape and everything, and the way the Pokemon interacted with the city made it look good. It made it look real enough for me to believe this world existed. So all of that helped, because this movie is primarily driven on how much you like cute little Pikachu and how much you like Ryan Reynolds playing cute little Pikachu. That's what it's based on. Remember back when the trailer dropped and we all thought this was fake and this was a gag trailer that didn't really exist for something that didn't really happen at all? Turns out it did. Turns out it was real. And turns out it wasn't bad. Turns out it wasn't bad. I don't know how great this was, because honestly, I'm sitting in the theater. I am on the tussin. I am on alcohol, yes. Yes, this is 2 drink minimum, of course. I am on alcohol. I am on the tussin. I am on a popcorn high, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and I am enjoying what I'm seeing in terms of the visuals. In terms of the story is paper thin, but there are things in it that work enough to make you go along with the story enough so that you can get through the 90 minutes. Doesn't feel like 90 minutes at all. It's 90 minutes, a little over 90 minutes. Doesn't feel like the 90 minutes. It doesn't necessarily feel long at all. It's a breezy movie. Justice Smith is serviceable in the role. His love interest is good in that role. Ken Watanabe is freaking Ken Watanabe. Of course he is. He's great. Ryan Reynolds, and this is something I touched on a little bit earlier. Ryan Reynolds does a little bit too much Ryan Reynoldsing for my taste in this movie. There are points where dialogue from Ryan Reynolds seems crammed into slots that there was blank spaces. It's almost as if the movie, at a certain point, about a halfway point, remembers the kids in the audience and is like, there has to be noise all the time. You can't not have noise. Somebody has to say something. Ryan Reynolds. Even if it's not funny, even if it's not cute, even if it's not clever, even if it has nothing to do with the plot of the movie, even if it's just him saying, "Ooh, I want some coffee." Like, it's just, it feels like they got a Ryan Reynolds soundboard for some of the scenes in the movie and just started pressing buttons. They got a soundboard and a cat and said, just walk across it, and that's what happened at certain points in the movie. It was a bit much. It took me out of the movie a bit, because I'm like, why? He doesn't have to. I now want to be invested in the human characters that we're following along with the Detective Pikachu. That's the point. You can't have a movie with humans in it and make the humans empty shells and expect me to not notice that Jurassic Park and freaking world. You can't do that. And that's kind of what this movie didn't necessarily try to make the characters empty, the human characters empty. Instead, it focused too much on the one-liners from Detective Pikachu, which didn't necessarily need to be focused on 100% of the time. If you're telling a story, then let's tell that story. And then let those one-liners be organic or seem real. We all remember why we liked Deadpool in the first place? And the one-liners and stuff? Let's face it, that's why he got put in this role. Do we all remember why we liked Deadpool in the first place? Because it felt relatively organic to that movie, Deadpool 1 at least. To that movie, the one-liners seemed to work in that movie, in that context. There, fantastic. Now we're starting to get into that realm with Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds in these type of comedies, action, video game, comic nerd realm stuff, where Hollywood is doing its Hollywood thing and forgetting the soul of why we liked the original thing. I literally just had this conversation last night with some good friends of mine, DJ Dispiscal and Square Words, about the soullessness of forgetting why something worked in the first place on the part of Hollywood. And we're starting to tread into that. And I saw that trend here in this movie. And if we get a Deadpool 3 or whatever next Ryan Reynolds project we get that's in that similar vein, I don't want to see that again. Here's what I actually want to see from Ryan Reynolds. I want to see a break. I want to see Ryan Reynolds do something maybe more serious, maybe completely serious, and then come back into something like this, or a more grounded in reality movie. You know, it could still be a comedy, make it be a rom-com or something like that. I need a break from him doing this for right now, so that Hollywood can get it right the next time that they do it. Hollywood and Ryan Reynolds can get it right the next time that they do it. He didn't necessarily get it wrong here, but he didn't get it as right as he got it originally in Deadpool. That said, this movie wasn't bad. It was well made. It was well made. Most of the CG was very good. I can believe that I was in this world. Again, I don't know what the heck was up with those Taurus designs. Those were rough. Those were terrible. But I kind of want an Arcanine to follow me around now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Pikachu was very cute for most of the movie. Like, Pikachu, I believe that Pikachu was there for most of the movie. Ironically enough, to me, the Pikachu looked fakest when the Pikachu was alone. Ironically enough, when Pikachu was not with one of the humans, to me, he didn't look as real as he did when he was with the humans. Psst. Go figure. They didn't feature a lot of Pokemon that I thought they were going to feature. Like, they didn't do. There wasn't a big Jigglypuff part, right? They didn't focus, too much on, they had a scene with Mr. Mime, right? And people were like, Mr. Mime looks creepy. Now I'm kind of used to it. It's fine. But the CG for the most part to me worked. For the most part, Gyarados. When you get into the huge, more fantastical ones, that's where I think it loses a little bit of the shine because they're huge and fantastical. Versus the smaller ones, they get the smaller ones really right. Bulbasaur kind of looked like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. It really looked like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. They get the smaller ones correct. They get the flying ones right. Again, the ones like Gyarados, a little bit much. Charizard, I could buy that Charizard. I could buy that Charizard. Yeah, I could kind of buy that Charizard. The Mewtwo worked. The CG in general, just an overall landscape to me worked. The story, I mean, come on. At a certain point, I feel like the story was an afterthought. And that's kind of a shame. I would have liked it to be stronger. They had a lot of balls in the air. They had two father-son dynamics, both with the villain's family and with the protagonist's family. They had the love interest thing there with the blonde chick. They had the government conspiracy thing. Is it the government? Is it this, that, or the other? Blah blah blah. You had the buddy cop dynamic in there. The buddy cop dynamic in it wasn't even necessarily as great as it could have been. Now, for really kind of an origin story, honestly, for this kid, Justice Smith's character, it was okay. They weren't no Riggs and Murtaugh, but their relationship, their chemistry on screen, Justice Smith and Pikachu's, again, worked enough for me in this movie to not drag it down. So Surreal, taking into consideration all that, the good work on the serviceable enough work, the good enough work on the CG, great when it was great, okay when it wasn't, the chemistry between the kid and Pikachu, Ryan Reynolds when he was good, versus Ryan Reynolds when he wasn't good, Pikachu when he was alone, the structure of the story, and some of the intentions of the people. How, on a scale of $15, much money does Detective Pikachu get from your boy, Surreal469? I gotta say, Detective Pikachu, on a scale of $15 from your boy, Surreal469, gets, I'd say 10 out of $15. It was okay. It was fine. It was good enough. It's good enough to see at least one time in theaters because of the way the CG works. The CG is really the strongest part of it, and it's fine. It's fine. It's 10 out of $15. It's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't say single digits, but it's fine. If you got a kid, it's fine. It's fine. It's good enough. The good parts were good. The not so good parts were okay, right? You're not gonna hate anything you see on screen. You're not gonna run out of here like, oh, this is crap. You're not gonna do any of that. You're not gonna roll your eyes or anything. I am a hard critic, really, to kind of satisfy. I didn't roll my eyes or anything like that. It was it was good. It was fine. It was it was a night out at Olive Garden. You know what I'm saying? Like it was good enough for the price that you paid. So yeah, 10 out of $15 I think is a decent enough price for that, in my opinion. I'm probably not going to see it twice. That trailer got my money. That trailer got my money. It got my money. It didn't deserve all of it, but it got it. It didn't deserve all of it, but it got it. I say about 10. 10 works. Better than average. 10 works. Party people, what I need to know though is, what did you think of? Have you seen it yet? What are you here for? Have you seen it yet? Did you see it? I saw it. I literally have been just talking for about a half hour about how much I saw Detective Pikachu. I need to know what you think of Detective Pikachu. Down, can you see it? You can't see it, but you're gonna see it when it comes. Like the windows. But down there in the down there in the comment section, like, share, subscribe, share. 1,000 subscribers is what I need to be able to go live in living color, if you will, on my mobile device. Also need a couple of different hours on here, right? So I need you guys a watch time hour. So I need you to come in here. I need you to watch some of my old content. I need you to watch some of my new content. Ooh, there's a new one that I'm working on right now that I'm putting the finishing touches on that should be coming out relatively soon. I'm not actually sure if it's coming on here, if it's coming on my other channel. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to put the finishing touches on it right now when I get back to the house. And you're going to see that one pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited about it, actually. So I may do a double debut of it. I may do a debut here and I may do a debut over there, just because I kind of need the hours here. But that other channel is going to be with somebody else, so I don't want to take the shine off of that. So do me a favor, subscribe, PayPal, Patreon, all that stuff. Keep the lights on at the party. And folks, if that ain't bad, tell me what you thought of Detective Pikachu. And before this camera shuts all the way down, cheers.